Welcome to my channel. This is Steve Wilson of Automotive Adventures. On this video, we're going to be covering gas-free electric vehicles. So stick around. Hopefully you enjoy the content. It may get a little edgy in this video, but I figure that I'm just going to just let it fly. So hope you stick around for the rest of this. Alright, so as I've already said in the intro, this is electric versus gas on cars. Just how I see things possibly developing in the future. But alright, I'm going to use these cell phones as part of my explanation of how that my mind works, so that you kind of get on page with me on what I'm thinking. Each one of these phones were the latest and greatest of their technologies. The one on the very back is an iPhone SE. The first generation SE, not the newest one. Each one of them was the best of their time. And we're talking about the cell phones. I took them back into the house because I just didn't want to leave them out here because it's bad weather this morning. But with that being said, each one of them, software got fancier. And technology got better, and the vehicle or the cell phones got outdated and obsolete because the technology just got better and nobody wanted the older technology. Alright, I'm starting this video by talking about using this 76 Ford as a prime example. Alright, my theory on thinking is, are we going to see in 2056, because I'm pretty sure Teslas have been around for at least 10 years or so. I haven't done a lot of background on them, but I think they came out like 2015. So they're at least 7 years old. So you add 40 years to that. So that would be 2055. This truck's 46 years old. It had been parked since early 2000. I changed the fuel tank on it, changed the carburetor on it. New fuel pump, cleaned out the fuel system, redid the brakes, and I can drive this truck at any time now. But that costed me probably $500-600 max to get this truck back on the road. I'm really thinking that there's no way that you would be able to take a 40-something-year-old Tesla that had been parked, or any Ford or Chevy EV that's been parked for an excessive amount of time, fix it for $400 or $500 and get it back on the road. And this Ford is a prime example. In the 70s, this is a Ranger XLT. It was the greatest technology of the time. Jump ahead a decade. This is a 1986 Monte Carlo. And it was the latest and greatest technology of its time. It had EFI. The Ford had a carburetor, which improved the car. So the technology was improving. But also with that very same aspect came new tools you had to have in order to work on that car. Bounce ahead 10 more years and go to 96. And in 1996, this Mustang is a GT, and it was the top of the line, greatest, most advanced technology of its time. As opposed to the Monte Carlo, it got airbags, it got ABS. So, I mean, the technology was improving. And it has got better. But still yet, it still is gas powered. And with gas power, you know, still the same technology as the Ford truck, just it's EFI instead of carbureted. Let's jump ahead to my 2019 Silverado. It has a touchscreen on the inside. It has airbags, it has side curtain airbags, it has ABS, it has traction control. It has really cool technology. But I also live out in the suburbs, and one of my jobs takes me exactly 1 hour to drive to. I work 2 jobs. One job takes me 20 minutes to drive to. So with an electric vehicle, I'd have to bring this thing home and plug it up. And with plugging it up, if everybody in the subdivision plugged theirs up at the same time I plug mine up, we lose power during bad storms and stuff real bad in my area. So that could develop into an issue if all of us had electric cars. But now let's get into a little bit of the second. My youngest son has a 2018 Chevy Colorado EV. As you can tell by looking inside the bed, there's not much towing capacity. It doesn't last very long, as opposed to my gas-powered one. And I'm just showing you under the bay of the Ford truck and just walking around it a little bit just for visualization for the rest of this video. But for part of it, part of my logic of thinking is everybody here has probably bought a light bulb at some point or another. And light bulbs have a lifespan. But did you know that when they first invented light bulbs and they were playing around with filaments, that the filaments, they tested multiple things to find out what, how to make a light bulb work. Well, they made them so well that light bulbs would burn and burn and burn and burn. Well, people were buying the light bulbs for their houses, and they were not going to buy new light bulbs because their light bulbs were still working. So all the people that created light bulbs got together and created a system where that they would only make their light bulbs last so many hours. And with that, they made it where that you'd have to go like every year and a half, 2 years to buy a new light bulb. And just like with the cell phone that we use, you have software updates and you have system updates and you have newer technology that they put into the phone. And everybody knows that, some of the cell phone builder companies, I'm not going to name them, but you probably know which one I'm referencing, that they tend to slow their phones down there to make you want to buy a new one. Because your system and your cell phone, it just slows it down and you can't upload your videos and stuff as fast as you did when you first got your new phone. And then with that logic of thinking, if you're going out and you're spending $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, well, we'll even start at $40,000 for a new electric car. Do you really think that these automotive companies, because they even logically today think that the lifetime of a car is 3 to 5 years? But this old truck and that old Mustang and that old Monte Carlo that could be still on the road today proves the fact that that's not actually the fact. You can revive an old car, but if they get it to the point where the battery only lasted so long and it would be cheaper to buy a new car as opposed to buying a new battery to keep that car on the road, and they only charge like a $4,000 or $5,000 difference between the two. Say you could buy a new car for $40,000, but it costs you $35,000 to buy batteries for your old car that you have paid off. And that's even if you got like a base model. The fancier they get, the more expensive they are. But my mind tells me that with the way people crave money, just to word it politely, that more than likely they're going to set these things up where they're going to run about 3 to 5 years. The batteries are going to go down in them, or they're going to software update them to the point where that the cars are no longer functioning like they used to, or the battery won't hold a charge like it used to. Say you plug it up for 8 hours, get up, go to work, and you make it work, but then you need to charge your car up while you're at work, but you can't. So you have to get somebody to come pick you up or tow your car back to your house because your battery's dead in your car. And I'm sure every one of us has had to happen with a cell phone before. Get up in the morning, your phone be fully charged, you go out somewhere, you do a little bit of online shopping, and the next thing you know, as your battery's got older in your phone, it dies. So I'm just using cell phones and I'm using light bulbs as my general reference for this, because most everybody has used one at some point in their life. So that's just my logic of thinking on what they're going to do with the EV cars. I don't think that they'll ever actually get rid of the gasoline engine powered cars fully until we're at the point where there is no more oil for us to use. But in order for us to no longer use oil, we're also going to have to do away with the plastics that they build those cars with. So even though they say there's zero emissions, there's still plastic in the dash that is made with oil. And the transportation of that car to the dealership or to the stuff that is hauled to build that car is transported from point A to point B on a diesel truck or train. So there's more fossil fuel used. Not to mention the lithium and stuff that they use inside the batteries has to be mined out, which is something that they never ever bring up when they talk about these things. I'm sorry that I'm kind of ranting about this, but I've had this video in my head for probably a year plus. I just was kind of edgy on going into it, and I wanted to try to do it the best that I can. It's probably not the greatest video I've ever made, and it's probably going to be kind of boring, and I don't know that it's even going to get any views. But I'm also thinking that, you know, if there's anybody out here in the car world that shares my opinion or would like to use some of the catalysts that I have used in my video for their video, that I can and they can build and make maybe a better video, or maybe a bigger creator can take what I have put out there and is willing to go further than I went. If you want to use my idea and go further and do it better, the only thing I ask is just tag me in the video, because I'm an upstart channel. I've been at it about 18 months, 19, something like that. So I would appreciate, you know, anything that y'all would want to do to the video, like it. That would definitely help me in the algorithm, because I'm getting slammed right now. But I guess that's a cut for this video. And next week I'm going to do the car that made me feel cool, and the car I found my personality in. It's just photos. It's just going to be a photo album of me kind of discussing them. But because I don't have no videos of them, because that's back in the 90s. Back then, if you wanted to camcord something, you had to use a camcorder or in a VHS tape. So now we've got digital cell phones, we can film it a lot easier. But hopefully y'all come around for that video too, if you happen to find this one. If not, maybe you find the video of the old Ford truck here that's featured bringing home my grandfather's truck, or any of the update videos on it where I'm at. But thanks for watching. See y'all in the next one.